into our fantasy fights. So the first one we're going to have is JJ versus Keoni about Kyle Pitts. JJ super high on Kyle Pitts at 7. And Keoni super low on Kyle Pitts at 16. So let's get it started.
Round 1, fight.
All right, here's what we have to remember about Kyle Pitts. Super athletic guy, just gonna be a target hog, on this Falcons team. He's gonna be the leading target guy. I really think. Drake London there, he's good, I guess, but not Kyle Pitts athletic. And then they got Bijan. Cool. He's a running back coming out of the backfield. I'm sure he gets a lot of targets. Let's go back to 2021 though. Whenever Kyle Pitts played 15 or all 17 games, not 10 like he did last season, he had 110 targets and over 1,000 yards. Now, he still has yet to get into the end zone a lot. 2 last season, 1 in his rookie season. But I think that could really change. As this team gets into the red zone, they're going to need that big tight end, athletic tight end, to score some touchdowns. As a lot of the teams will be looking to stop the run with Bijan Robinson. Maybe Kyle Pitts sneaks out a couple times, gets 5 or so touchdowns, catches 80 balls. This guy could easily, and it's the tight end position. Let's be honest. There's not a lot of guys that are this athletic in the tight end position. So at tight end 7, I'll take my shot on someone who's really athletic, young, and there's not a lot of options to go to on that team.
Okay. Yes, Kyle Pitts did come out, the gates hot in his rookie season with over 100 targets and 1,000 yards. And he was a top 10 tight end, but he only had 1 touchdown that season. And the following year, he did get injured, so only 10 games. However, in those 10 games, he had less than 30 catches and just over 350 yards. So that's 3 catches a game?
So you're telling me Marcus Mariota hates this man? Oh, okay.
Apparently, it's, I think the whole franchise apparently doesn't like him the way, because they're like, oh yeah, we're going to give him the ball. And clearly they did not, anyways, he also only had 1 more touchdown last year than he did in his rookie year. So it's not like he offset those bad receptions and yards with a lot of touchdowns. No, he just can't find the end zone. And we've seen him reach the heights of a top 10 player at the position, sure. But his performance last year leads me to believe that he's kind of going to be a boomer bust tight end. He might have the occasional good week where he does go for 80 yards and perhaps finds the end zone if he's fortunate enough. But for the most part, I don't think this offense is going to be that much improved in the passing game to facilitate a good enough stat line for him to be a top 10 guy. They ran the hell out of the ball last season, the most in the league, and they drafted like they were going to try and do the same thing again this year by getting Bijan Robinson. Plus, Desmond Ridder, he might do well, but probably not. I don't see him being much better than a Marcus Mariota or anything like that, at least right now. I'd have to see him play in the season to know otherwise, but without many touchdowns, I think it's going to be a tough season for Kyle Pitts, despite his talent, which we all agree he is very talented. But much like the tight end position, you can be like somebody can show up randomly in a top 10. A lot of people can show up outside the top 15. And I think that's what's going to happen with Kyle Pitts.
Fantasy fight number 2 coming at you. We got Ryan versus Keoni for Chigoziem Okonkwo. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to keep fucking it up no matter what. Ryan has him at 17 and Keoni has him at tight end 10. So Ryan, you go ahead first. In
round 2, fight.
So after learning from my Dawson Knox bet last season, I am hesitant to rely on Chig as a top 10 tight end. It seems that he is a heavily dependent on touchdowns. And considering that this offense has an inability to consistent feed any tight end since 2000 and since Ryan Tannehill became a starter, no tight end has surpassed 500 receiving yards. With Hopkins being the primary option and Burks being the second option when he gets back from injury, I just think you're looking for a Jonnu Smith 2019 8 touchdown season for him to be relevant. And even then, Chig won't get the real volume he needs. Last season, 4 of his 17 games, he had 5 or more targets. It's just hard to believe, even though I really want it to happen because he's on my dynasty team, that Chiggy's going to explode like that when Hopkins comes and takes targets. Again, last week I said it in our Hopkins argument. Titans was average 25th in pass attempts per season. They are a run-first team. The volume is not there for these 3 guys to really do what we want them to do. Hopkins might be a good wide receiver too. Chiggy's going to be a streaming tight end. And Burks is a wide receiver 4/5. It's just his offense.
Well, to start, Jonnu Smith's 8 touchdown season came out in 2020, not 2019. So get your facts straight, Ryan. Anyways, Chigoziem Okonkwo, he had an okay rookie season. Start with 450 yards and 3 touchdowns for tight end. Not too bad, and those were the second best numbers on his team. So they clearly like this guy. Now, this team doesn't really pass to wide receivers as much as they probably should, but when they have a talented tight end like Okonkwo, they can. Austin Hooper is gone, so there's not going to be as much competition at the tight end position for targets. And I think he can
replace them with Hopkins.
Well, but like I said, he's a wide receiver, and Okonkwo is a tight end. So he can be a guy who I think sneaks into the end zone quite a bit, much like Jonnu Smith did in that 2020 season of 8 touchdowns. Now, in that season, he had 8 touchdowns, just over 40 catches, and under 450 yards, and he finishes the tight end 11. So I think if Okonkwo, has those numbers, which, he has the receiving yards, and he just needs, to up his catch numbers, which I think he can do. And if he gets those, touchdowns, which again, the tight end position is a little funky, so you never know. I think it can be. And if he has a season similar to that, hey, tight end 10 is not terribly far off from tight end 11. So I also just love that if he does well, we'll have to probably talk about him a lot and say his name a lot, which is pronounced Chigoziem Okonkwo.